primaries here and a low number. That's an interesting thing to note. A weapon can tend to be a very good place to find that bonus dexterity if you're not a monk or a demon hunter. A lot of times people are not going to value, and you can get a pretty decent chunk. You can get a 150, 250 dexterity roll on a piece that the person that's selling it is going to completely overlook the value of that. So you can just potentially scoop up a weapon that could have 6 to 7% dodge on it. That just because people don't know how to read that. Competing primaries, bad single resist, low gold roll without the combination of pickup radius. Primary vitality, and then it stops there. You could basically just delete this Thorns affix since it's so low. This is pretty low on the damage modifier, and then gold isn't really something somebody's looking for on a your really high DPS gear slots being obviously your weapon, but beyond that, your offhand, your jewelry, and your gloves. Gloves because you've got a possible combination of crit and crit damage. Same thing with the amulet and the rings, in addition to maybe some attack speed on them, and a big primary stat. The offhand, you can get such a huge damage modifier on it that it's not really a place people are going to look for quality of life or gold find type affixes. Those pieces are generally going to be very expensive because you're trying to squeeze in so many beneficial affixes that there's no room left for the little tiny quality of life choices. Competing primaries, no life component, no real resist. Not much to say here. There's only two benefits here to speak of. Four main stats and some poison resist. Yeah, unfortunately. No primaries, no vitality. Wow. It's pretty worthless. Not to mention, I don't think I've ever seen a wizard like beyond level 20 using Ray of Frost. 13% chance to block means you can pretty much look past everything else. Unfortunately, it's got a decent life percent, it's got a really nice resist all, it's got a great crit roll. I mean, ideally you're going to want the perfect 10, but 8.5 is definitely acceptable. But you can get easily another 10% chance to block on a shield like this. So that's a huge sacrifice to make. Nothing on those gloves. A one-hander with, just too low. Pretty decent. I mean, it's a really nice vitality roll. It's got attack speeds up to roughly 150% crit damage, but no one's going to want to invest a gem that size into a 400 DPS weapon. But this is definitely the type of weapon that could sell at such a low number if it had reduced level requirements. Nothing here. This is kind of what I was speculating on before, in terms of like an offhand weapon. Because it has such a high life on hit number, plus you can put a crit damage gem in there. I think this has the potential to sell. I think like the absolute cutoff, nobody wants to go below about 500. This is really cutting it close, but this will be good to look up. I need to do my research and look at how exactly offhand and what affixes what swing speed, percentage of damage done, how that all works. Intellect and Vitality, nothing else. 2 affixes isn't enough. Intellect and Fire Resistance, that's not going to do it. Low for a 2-hand, despite the huge strength roll. Very low primary and vitality. It's got a perfect Magic Find roll. Unfortunately, people aren't doing Magic Find swap sets anymore, so that doesn't cut it. You really do need the piece to be wearable on its own. Very low numbers here. Again. And this is another one, combination of Life on Hit and Life Steal. But I've already got the other one to look up, and I don't think this is gonna cut it, especially as a 2-hander. Dex Vitality, super low resistol. This will be interesting just to see where the cutoff is for your minimum primary vitality plus a resistol for a piece like a chest or pants or belt or something. So I'm just going to look this up without any sort of expectations of it selling. And then I just want to check real quick that it was a 1-hander with the other yeah, it was. The combination Life on Hit and Life Steal. Even though this has better Life on Hit, it's a 2-hander, so that's just going to drop its viability. Like a rock. I'm kind of just hitting my my buffs again just to double check my stats, make sure I don't sell the wrong thing. Alright, this is the last page. Everything else is empty. Intellect, Vitality, Physical Resistance, some armor. Unfortunately, it's bracers, and so there's no crit, and there's no resist all, and the Intellect and Vitality are too low. If those were in the triple digits, you'd have a chance, but because they're both low, you really do need a 4th affix there. Unfortunately, this wasted 2 affix spots for a min and a max damage instead of just giving a range. And then they're competing primary stats and crowd control reduction. This is a decent defensive amulet, but I don't know, I think a lot of people are looking for a much stronger life component if they are looking for a defensive amulet. But it'll be interesting to look up. Right at the cusp of debatable 1-hand numbers. But there's no saving grace in the affixes, so it's going to tank. Very nice resist all. Tiny little movement affix. But there's no life and there's no primaries to speak of, so. Intellect, Vitality, resist all, and maybe some bonus dexterity if someone is looking for that. That'll be like 1.75% dodge. Unfortunately, there's no crit on the bracers, and the resist all is a very low roll, so I don't see me getting more than 50,000 for these on a very good day. Very nice vitality, decent attack speed, but the 700 is not going to cut it. You really do need crit damage to make this sexy enough. Again, there's nothing to salvage these low 600 rolls. Resist all and armor, is that enough to warrant the magic find? I don't think so. Only because people aren't even going to see this. It doesn't even have vitality to come up on someone's search, let alone a primary that they're searching for. So if somebody wanted something like this, they could just get a blue item. You know, they could just go for Vitality and Perfect Magic Find. Save themselves some money. Gold and Magic Find, I mentioned that before, but together on a piece really doesn't appeal. It's completely different target audiences. Gold Find people are generally farming a lower difficulty act or game difficulty level, and the Magic Find are going only for Inferno, and so they need much better stats on the piece. Low for a two-hander. Right at the cusp, I think, for a two-hander. But it's got decent life on hit, and it's got some attack speed. Kind of be interested to see. I don't have much hopes for this. Maybe if that was dexterity instead of intelligence, but I would like to see. It's got two decent DPS affixes, just not the best ones. And they were both right around half of what they could be. Life on hit up to 950 or so, and 960, I think. And then the attack speed's only at 5, and it could be at least double that. And here's an even worse Perfect Magic Find. There's nothing helpful here. So. Is this decent enough for someone to forgive the lack of crit? Unfortunately, the primary stat rolls are really low, but the fire resist, the armor, and the really nice life regen number are quite good. Problem is no one searches for life regen. It's going to be a bonus. So if that had one of the primaries in triple digits, I think there'd be a good shot. Crit chance, dexterity, and resist all. So there's missing a life component, and the I don't know. These maybe have a chance. Maybe. Again, if that dexterity was in triple digits, it's going to meet a lot more people's search field requirements in the auction house. But I really don't think at 76 that dexterity is going to cut it. Strength, physical resist, and resist all. So there's no life component at all, but it does have a very nice strength roll and very nice resists. So check that out. Really important though to, when I'm looking for a comparable piece, to make sure it doesn't have any sort of life component. Nothing. Nope. So I believe this will be the fourth identifying session with no real big ticket item, which is just a remarkably long streak of bad gear for me. Maybe recording is bad luck if I believed in luck. So low numbers on the two-hander here. It's got a decent life on hit, but no crit. So this has a shot because of the magic find. While the strength and the vitality are low, it's got a perfect magic find roll, and it's got a decent single resist. Low block chance, low primary, very nice crit roll though. Last piece. Nothing. Okay, off to the auction house.